get to create memories here. I see it every day. You just have to give it a chance. You've been here, what, a month now? Do you have any friends?
Kimmy Jin is my friend. No.
You gotta get out there, Beck. You gotta try something.
Got a job at the radio station.
Oh, great, that place. It's dark and dirty and has like, what, those 3 weirdos who work there?
Well, 4 now.
You gotta try something new, Beck. Join one club on campus. And if, at the end of a year, you still don't want to be here, you still want to go off to LA and be P. Diddy, well then, you can quit college. And I will help you move to LA.
Seriously?
Yes, seriously. But I really need to see it, Becca. This is college. Join in.
What's up, guys? My name's Derek, and I'm from Austin, Texas. I'm a rising 3rd year and an industrial engineer. When I was thinking about where I wanted to go to college, Georgia Tech was hardly an option. Georgia Tech was the stretch school my dad picked out for me because of its prestigious engineering school. Out of the 6 schools I was applying to, I thought of it as the least likely school out of 10. That is, until destiny placed me here. The summer going into my senior year of high school, my parents and I took a college visit road trip. We were on day 4 of the trip and had just finished touring Auburn University. Georgia Tech was the next school on the list, but we were beginning to question whether or not it'd be worth visiting. My mom turned and asked me, "Derek, do you even think you'll consider going to Georgia Tech?" My honest answer at the time was no. Georgia Tech's too far away from home, and I'm not even sure if I'll be accepted. We were about to call the trip off and turn around and head back towards the University of Oklahoma when we made small talk with another family on the tour. We asked the student what he and his family thought of Auburn. The student responded by saying, "Auburn's nice, but I'm completely sold on Georgia Tech." He further elaborated by saying, "Georgia Tech has an unbelievable engineering program, and I fell in love with the campus immediately." Because of what this random student had to say about Georgia Tech, we decided to give it a shot and make the drive out there. When we set foot on campus, we instantly realized why he loved it. Georgia Tech is its own little bubble and still feels like a college campus despite being in downtown Atlanta. We made our way to the information section part of the tour and discovered that because Tech Super scores, I had a better shot of getting in than I originally thought. We left Atlanta with a completely different attitude than we came in with, but I still wasn't sold that Georgia Tech was the right school for me. Later that summer, I began writing my college essays and submitted my application well before the early admission deadline. After waiting a few months, I was notified that I was accepted as a mechanical engineering undergraduate student. A few months later, when I was touring the University of Colorado Boulder Engineering School, I realized that mechanical engineering wasn't for me. After doing research on a few other potential options, I discovered industrial engineering. Now, the description for industrial engineering was right up my alley. I began looking up the industrial engineering rankings of the schools I was applying to and learned that Georgia Tech had the #1 program in the nation, while other schools didn't even offer the major. Later on, my dad and I found out that the South Regional of the NCAA basketball tournament, something that we've been attending every year since I've been in 7th grade as a father-son bonding trip, was being hosted by Georgia Tech in Atlanta that year. This gave us another opportunity to visit Georgia Tech with our new mindset. In February, I was notified by the UT Engineering School and the UT Business School that I wasn't accepted into either program. Although I was leaning more and more towards Tech every day at this point, I was still very disappointed with this news. In March, my dad and I took our trip to Atlanta. We watched basketball and took our second campus visit on the off day. Right before I went to bed, on the day that I'd taken that second campus visit, I received an email from the Texas Georgia Tech Alumni Association informing me that I was chosen as the recipient of their scholarship. At this point, I couldn't deny it any longer. I was meant to enroll at Georgia Tech. I went out and told my dad the news and told him that I was ready to fully commit to attending Georgia Tech in the fall. At the time, I had no idea why fate placed me here, but I can confidently say now I'm happy it did. I came into Facet without knowing a single other person coming to this school, and now after 2.5 years, I'm on track to graduate with highest honors, I've studied abroad with the GT Oxford program. I've received a co-op with Coca-Cola. I've joined and held officer positions in organizations across campus, and I've met some of the best friends I've ever had. I'm telling you this story to reassure all of you that are out there who are unsure whether or not Tech is the right school for you. It's a common feeling. But my advice is to be confident and take advantage of everything Georgia Tech has to offer. This is my story. You're at Tech now. What's yours?
Well, I just wanted to let everyone know that we have a new student joining us. Her name is Caddy Heron. Where are you, Caddy?
That's me. It's pronounced like Katie.
My apologies. I have a nephew named Anthony, and I know how mad he gets when I call him Anthony. Almost as mad as I get when I think about the fact that my sister named him Anthony.
Well, welcome, Katie, and thank you, Mr.
Hi. How you guys doing? My name is Alain. I'm a rising third year majoring in industrial engineering. This is my life story. I'm originally from Rwanda. I came to the United States when I was 13 years old as a refugee. And I remember going to the 8th grade, and the one thing that I really struggled with was assimilating into the American culture. I was really different from many of my schoolmates. I dressed different, I looked different, and I couldn't speak any English at all. And because of these things, I was made fun of a lot and left alone at the same time. And the combination of all this made me ashamed of being from Rwanda. So I decided to force myself to fit in. I lost a lot of my accent and started behaving like the American kids around me. I forced myself to fit in to the point where when people would ask me where I'm from, I would immediately say Stone Mountain, Georgia. But occasionally people would notice the little accent that I still have and would ask me where I'm originally from. And I hated when people asked me this because it made me feel extremely uncomfortable. I struggled with this throughout middle school and high school, but it wasn't until I came to Georgia Tech that I developed pride in my roots. Georgia Tech is really diverse. It has a student body that consists of so many different nationalities that it makes it easier for you to appreciate and accept who you are. I met a few students when I came to Tech. Some were juniors and sophomores, and others were freshmen. Some were international students, and others were from the United States. I met these students through the African Student Association, the African American Student Union, the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and the Office of Minority Educational Development, which is also referred to as OMED. And what OMED does is it provides educational services such as tutoring to students. The nationality pride that the students from all these different organizations carry touched me and made me realize that being different isn't a bad thing at all. And once I realized this, I began to feel a sense of comfort that I hadn't felt in a while. I'm a Tech Promise scholar, and what Tech Promise is a scholarship that's awarded to students from low-income family households. It's helped me pay for most of my school fees and gave me the opportunity to attend Georgia Tech. But getting involved is what helped me build friendships within a diverse student body. I'm currently a member of the National Society of Black Engineers. I'm the service project coordinator for the Martin Luther King Day of Service here on Tech campus. And I'm an office assistant in the Office of Leadership and Civic Engagement. And what the Office of Leadership and Civic Engagement is, it's an office on campus that's in charge of chartering student organizations. It also promotes community service and leadership. So it's definitely a great resource for you guys to tap into if you're looking to get involved around campus. Georgia Tech has helped me a lot, and being a facet leader has been one of the ways I've shown my gratitude. So, do not be afraid to be who you are at Georgia Tech, because not only will you not be judged, you'll find many more like you. This is my story. You're at Georgia Tech now. What's yours? Thank you.
kidding. Wow.
Looking at it now, I can see that it's a bit much. I can take it down.
No way. I mean, it took a second for my eyes to adjust, but I can roll with this.
Look, just so you know, I'm not a total nerd. I also happen to be super into close-up magic.
Dude, that's awesome. How long was that little guy in there?
Several days.
Hi guys. My name is Nellie. I am a rising fourth-year industrial engineering major from Houston, Texas, and this is my life story. Being an out-of-state student, I didn't really know anyone coming to Tech. Two other people coming from my high school were both guys, and I obviously couldn't room with them, so I decided to go assign a random roommate. And I'll be honest, I was really excited about this random roommate, because who knew? Maybe she would be one of my first friends here at Tech. As soon as assignments came out, I went straight to Facebook and sent her a friend request. Before long, we were chatting about ourselves, our hobbies, how excited we were to finally be in college, just typical roommate stuff. I took a fast at 5, so I was already settled in by the time she came to move in, and she and her family were really friendly and sweet as I helped them move her stuff in, which made me think that the living situation would be great. And I'll be honest, the first few months were. We would stay up late just chatting and hanging out, and would make plans to have dinner every week. But then I started to realize that we didn't have much in common and that our personalities and priorities were completely different. On top of that, she would go home every weekend since she lived only half an hour away, and our course load started to get heavy, so we just gradually drifted apart. I think we both understood that we were too different to be friends, but still kept a mutual understanding to respect one another's space. Second semester, however, started off pretty rocky. A few incidents occurred that drove us apart to a point where we didn't talk much at all. One day I told her I'd be spending the night with a friend, and she responded by asking if she could have a few friends over. And I didn't object because, hey, it's her room too, and I trusted her to keep track of her space, or her friends. That obviously was a bad idea though, since the next day I'd come back to my room to find out that my laptop and all of its accessories were stolen right off my desk by the people she had over the night before. When I went to confront her, she pretended not to know anything about it, and even tried to place the blame on one of my friends. At that point, I didn't really know what to do, so I went to our peer leader, who is an upperclassman living on our floor, who was there to provide support and assistance, who suggested that I contact the Georgia Tech Police Department to report my property stolen. In less than half an hour, a GCPD officer and detective were in my room, questioning my roommate and her boyfriend. Another half hour later, they had the number of the guy I think committed the theft, and managed to convince him to return my laptop. And an hour after that, I was standing outside my residence hall with GCPD, confronting the thief. I was given the option of pressing charges, which could have resulted in up to a year in jail, but decided against it because I was just way too lazy to go through the entire process. And besides, my anger and frustration was mainly directed toward my roommate, who had left before police could question her any further, claiming that she was innocent throughout the entire process. After I got my computer back, the situation was completely out of GCPD's hands. They were an amazing resource in helping me get my laptop back, and even checked up with me the following week to make sure I was okay. Things obviously couldn't be patched up with my roommate though, so our peer leader suggested that we go speak with our hall director to see what could be done. I was given the option to move into a nearby residence hall that had a recent vacancy, but decided against it because I didn't want to move my stuff out that late in the year. Instead, we decided to sign a roommate contract, and having our hall director monitor our roommate contract was the only thing that made it possible. Otherwise, my roommate and I would not have spoken to one another at all. After the contract was drafted and signed, things are still pretty tense between the two of us, but at least we had some ground rules set. So I know some of y'all might be completely freaked out by this story, especially those of you who do have random roommates, but that's not what I wanted to get out of the story. I know plenty of people who had random roommates and ended up forming great relationships with them, and I hope you do too. Just know that if you have any problems here at Tech, whether it's roommate drama or anything else, there are always resources on campus that can help you get through it. And hey, if you do have a situation as crazy as mine, at least you'll get a great story out of it. That's my story. You're at Tech now. What's yours?
Hey y'all, I'm Bobby. I'm third year. I'm changing right now, but I'm an industrial engineering major as of Monday. This is my life story. So, summer before college is an anxiety-filled time for everyone. Making friends, doing well in classes, all these things play a part. When I got accepted as a summer freshman, it only added to my worries. I was already scared of all these things, and then to make things worse, campus is going to be completely empty in the summer. So by the time moving rolled around, I had myself convinced that, at least for the summer, Tech was going to be a pretty miserable time. So when moving finally did come around, even though my room in Armstrong was surprisingly nice and none of those horror stories were true for me, that very first weekend I returned home like the mama's boy I knew I was. Now, a PL or peer leader is an upperclassman who lives in your hallway near a freshman. They're to offer you advice and help you acclimate to college life. PL in my hall explained to my roommate and I the rules of engagement and the rules they had for our hall. There were two main rules. The first was a recommended open door policy. I thought, forget that, I want my privacy, I'm not doing that. The second was that it was strongly recommended that you hang out and do homework in the Common Learning Center on your hall. And that one I started to do. So this summer, I was still to a show that my ex-girlfriend and I used to watch together. Y'all might have heard of it, Teen Wolf. Yeah, so it's about time for a new episode to come on. I'm doing homework, but I realized that, and I don't have cable TV in my room yet. So I run to the Learning Center and turn it on. People are in there. They're sitting around doing their homework or whatever. And then suddenly, previously on Teen Wolf, everyone looks up, looks at the TV, looks at each other, realizes what's going on, looks at me, and bursts out laughing. I tried to shrug it off, explaining, come on guys, this is my show. But they kept laughing. I immediately determined they were all going to leave. But they didn't. In fact, within 10 minutes, there were double the amount of people in there watching it with me. Now, I realize it's probably because the show's terrible. But I couldn't help but think, maybe these guys aren't so bad. Second week, day one, I get back in class. Hey Bobby, we're going to CRC, you want to come? Yeah, sure. So I run to my room, throw my stuff down, change, go to the CRC, and we end up playing basketball for close to 2 hours. And I couldn't believe it. These guys were all pretty good too. See, I love playing sports, and I was ecstatic to learn that these guys did too. They didn't just stay in their rooms playing video games all day. But if you do like doing that, there's people with that preference too. There's over 450 clubs and 20,000 students at this school. You're gonna find people with the same interests as you. That week, we ended up playing soccer, volleyball, ultimate frisbee, etc. every day after class. And at nights, even though I despise the show, we'd watch reruns of Scrubs with half the hall. I have nothing but fantastic memories from this summer, and had only negative expectations going in. And those were crushed by an awesome hall of guys and two phenomenal peer leaders. That's my life story. You're at Georgia Tech now, Fast at 6. What's yours?
Know how we feel.
Yeah, right. Have you accepted Jesus Christ as your personal savior?
Party Thursday at the Dell. Gotta be there. Free jello shot for freshman women.
Do you guys know what
At the Dell.
Weissman Hall is?
Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I'm a second-year computer science major from Peachtree City, Georgia, and this is my life story. When I came to Georgia Tech, I had no idea what I was going to do, academically or socially. My advisors helped me with my scheduling and my classes, but I still had a bunch of free time on my hands. My friend ended up dragging me out to Greek recruitment, you know, Rush, and that's something I never would do, ever, in my life, ever. But I went, and I loved it. I loved getting to know the guys and seeing what impact they had on the campus. So my first bit of advice is to go out and try something new. Take a risk. If you don't like it, at least you tried, and if you do, that's awesome. Anyways, rush can be a little bit frightening. For me, it was downright terrifying. Most students have some sort of apprehension like, do I fit in here? Can I hang out with these people for the next 4 or 5 years? For me, I had to worry about whether or not they would accept me for who I am, and that's gay. And I have friends at other colleges who have come out to their fraternities or their sororities, and they felt ostracized from their Greek life and part of their social life. They lost that sense of home you get with a Greek organization. So you can understand why I was so nervous about rushing around. I had no idea how accepting these guys were. Over the nights of rush, my mind flooded with the what-if situations. What if they like me, I get a bid, they find out I'm gay and they hate me? What if they judge me right off the bat? How do I know if these guys are as accepting as I need them to be? Walking into one of those houses made my heart beat twice as fast. But I eventually found a house I liked, with guys I got along with,